Morning, brethren. Welcome to another daily devotional. We were thinking yesterday about the amazing statement of the Apostle Paul, which we find here in Philippians, and in fact, which we find in many of his other letters, where he addresses Christians as saints. Every believer is a saint. They are viewed spiritually by God as being holy ones. Paul goes on and he speaks about the saints that are in Christ Jesus at Philippi. Philippi was where these people lived. It was a city, a Roman colony. In other words, it was a mini Rome. The architecture, the whole culture, the language, the worship of the emperor, everything that you could find in Rome was found in Philippi in a smaller scale. So it was a very difficult city in which to live as a Christian. Certainly the Christians would have been very, very much in the minority. They would have been surrounded by all kinds of pagan worship, including emperor worship. They would have been under all kinds of pressure to compromise their faith, both morally and also doctrinally. But these Christians were to live out their faith in this geographical location, Philippi, in which God in his providence had placed them. Maybe some of them thought to themselves, it would be much easier being a Christian if we were in some small town or village where there wasn't as much godlessness, where there wasn't as much pressure being put upon us by our peers, where we didn't have all these pagan temples all around us. It would be far easier being a Christian there than it is here in Philippi. But the fact of the matter is they were called to be Christians in Philippi. Now, brethren, that's important because God has called us to be saints wherever he has placed us. Some of you who have these daily devotions each day live in the same area as myself, in and around Market Hill, Armagh, Newry, Lochgilly. And it's not an easy place to live as a Christian. Some of us work in situations where it's not easy to be a Christian. Maybe in a factory, maybe in an office, maybe working in a school and you have to go into the staff room and many of them are unbelievers. Maybe you work in the National Health Service and many of your colleagues who are doctors and nurses are not Christians. Maybe you go to school or to university. And again, it's not easy to be a Christian in those places, but God has put you there. And that's where you are to be his saint, his holy one, his set apart one. You are to live your life in that town, in that village, in that townland. You're to live your life in that school, university, in your place of employment, in the rugby team or the football team or the netball team, and you're to live it for the glory of God. You might think to yourself, things should be easier if I was somewhere else. The reality is, no matter where you are, it's not easy to live as a Christian. But that's what God calls us to do. To live out our faith in the geographical location, in the work environment, in the educational environment, whatever it happens to be, where he in his providence has currently placed us. So let's get out there and let's, with God's help and by God's grace, show the people around us that we are indeed saints of God. May the Lord bless you in your witnessing and serving him today. Have a great day, folks.